Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel and welcome to today's video. So I have done a few videos about breastfeeding before, and I recently filmed a breastfeeding toddlers kind of advice, tips, question and answer type video, but I just felt there were a few things that I didn't say on that video and I thought that I would just film another one. And also I really wanted to talk about the benefits of breastfeeding kind of in general, but also specifically breastfeeding older babies, because basically it's not really seen as being normal, I think, in society, which is such a shame because it is totally normal and natural to breastfeed your child until they want to self-wean, really, which they kind of estimate is between 2.5 to 7 years old. But yeah, in society it's not really kind of seen as acceptable, so I wanted to kind of film breastfeeding benefits so that some people, obviously they kind of don't care, because some people will just see it as not normal so they won't be interested, but there will be some people, hopefully, who this might help them to realise that actually breastfeeding older babies comes with lots and lots of benefits for mums and their children as well. Also, I know I didn't really say in my last video, but I am a stay-at-home mum, so for me, Arthur obviously has free access to breastfeed whenever he wants. So when I was saying about how many times he feeds a day, obviously please take that into consideration. If you have gone back to work, obviously lots of mums have gone back to work by now, so Arthur is 2 if you are new. Yeah, your breastfeeding journey might look slightly different, but please don't think that if you're going back to work, whenever, at whatever age your baby is, it means that you have to stop breastfeeding. Your employer actually has an obligation to provide facilities for you, but if you want to express, yeah, you can do that at work. But I also know I can't comment personally on this because I haven't done it, obviously, but I do know other mums that have gone back to work and they've still been able to breastfeed their child. So yeah, please don't think that that's kind of an end all, but I wanted to let you know that's my situation, whereas I am a stay-at-home mum. So as we all know, babies need milk, whether that is breast milk or formula, as a supplement until they are 1, and then obviously past 1 they'll be getting their nutritional needs from solids. So I think a lot of people kind of assume then that babies don't need breast milk, or that there's no kind of purpose to breastfeed past 1 year. A lot of people call breastfeeding past 1 year extended breastfeeding, which I also did as well, but technically it's not extended, there isn't any such thing, it is just breastfeeding. The World Health Organization does recommend breastfeeding up to 2 years and beyond, but I think because breastfeeding isn't normalised, I mean the breastfeeding rates in the UK, so I'm not talking about breastfeeding older babies, but just breastfeeding full stop, our rates are one of the lowest in the world, which is such a shame. So just a few figures that would just really surprise me. Apparently 8 out of 10 women stop breastfeeding before they want to. 8 out of 10, that's 80%. That is such a lot of people, that's such a massive, massive number. And I think it's because it's not normalised and because the support isn't out there. I just think if you were surrounded by maybe your family, maybe friends, and maybe they haven't ever breastfed, formula feeding was really, really pushed. I think it was like back in the 60s, 50s, I think. So if you are surrounded with people that don't get it, or they'll say, oh, don't worry about breastfeeding, you know, it's too hard, or it's weird, or no, you don't need to worry about that, bottles is easier, formula is easier, or you feel very uncomfortable or embarrassed, or, you know, maybe there's some sort of issue. But if you don't have the support around you, that can bring your breastfeeding journey to an end, which I think is really, really sad. So yeah, the rates in our country are horrendously low. So to still be exclusively breastfeeding at 6 weeks old, which is terribly young still, is only 24% in England. So less than a quarter of women are breastfeeding past 6 weeks, which is, yeah, such a low number. And I just think to me it's odd that people don't see breastfeeding as normal. And I know some people have said to me, you know, why did you choose to breastfeed? But I don't look at it like that. I look at it the other way around. I say, well, why wouldn't I? Because breastfeeding is kind of like, for me, it's the first port of call because it is the natural thing. And obviously I'm not discrediting people that want to formula feed for whatever reason. Obviously formula, I've said this in my last video, has definitely got a place for women, of course it does. But yeah, like breastfeeding is the natural thing to do. Yes, as I said, it can come with issues and challenges sometimes, and it can be difficult. But, you know, really, if people have the support or know where to get the support, hopefully that should help them to carry on breastfeeding. But yeah, I just think it's such a shame that people don't kind of think that it's normal. yet some people will literally think nothing of drinking cow's milk. It's really weird, obviously it's been normalised to drink cow's milk, but cow's milk is literally made for baby cows. It doesn't have all of the nutrients, hence why, you know, we can't drink it until we're 1 as a main milk, because it doesn't contain everything that we need because it's made for baby cows. But people don't really think much about that, whereas, you know, the same people think that breast milk is weird. Anyway, so yeah, I think that's kind of all I wanted to say, the things that I didn't really explain in my last video. So I really wanted to talk about the benefits. There are so many benefits for breastfeeding. So a massive benefit to the child is that breastfeeding helps their immune system. So it actually takes 2 to 6 years for your immune system to mature. So, you know, when you're that age, it takes that long. So breastfeeding within that time really helps to boost their immune system, and will also help protect against illnesses, which I just think, especially in this current climate, I have known a few people who have wanted to breastfeed for longer because of everything that's going on in the world at the moment. Also, you know, you get that kind of sense that you want to like sniff your baby, but when you sniff your baby, you're actually taking in pathogens from their skin, which then kind of makes your body produce antibodies in the milk, which, yeah, it's amazing. So all of this, by the way, I have read so many articles and stuff because I knew a lot of this, but I kind of wanted to get my facts right before obviously put a video out. So I will leave a lot of links below if you want to sort of read any of this yourself. So babies that are breastfed have fewer colds. There's a lower risk of SIDS, so sudden infant death syndrome. They have a less risk of having infections like ear infections and so on. They are less likely to be obese, and they're also less likely to have cardiovascular disease in adulthood. So it's not even just when they're young, when they're baby breastfeeding, the benefits go beyond that right into adulthood, which I think is incredible. Also, amazingly, when the baby is ill, your body will know that. So there's kind of like, I think they call it a backwash system. So when your baby or child is breastfeeding, so that then creates a cue. So when the baby is ill, their saliva mixes with your milk and then your milk changes, so it actually helps them out when they're ill, which I think is such an amazing fact. And also when the mum is ill, so I should have said this at the beginning, but yeah, sorry if I sound a bit blocked up, I have a cold and a bit of a cough at the moment. But yeah, when mum is ill, it means we actually produce more antibodies to give to the baby. So when I'm feeding Arthur, he will be more protected from whatever I have at the moment because he is breastfed. Milk also changes, so again, I did talk about this in my last video, but you know, if it's hot, milk actually has a higher water content so that it keeps them hydrated. And a really, really good one is that it does contain serotonin, which helps the baby sleep. So your body and your milk will change according to kind of what time of day it is, and also according to your baby's needs. So even though past 1, yes, children will be getting their nutrients from food, it doesn't mean that breast milk isn't nutritious. It still has all the nutrients in, and actually in toddler years it will have more fat in it and it will create more energy for them. So I'm going to read you what it contains. It will contain 29% of energy requirements, 43% of protein, 36% of calcium, 75% of vitamin A, 94% of vitamin B12 and 60% of vitamin C requirements. I think that is based on a 1 to 2 year old. It's quite hard to find all these different facts. But yeah, as you can tell, it still has loads of nutrients in it, so it definitely helps to fill the gaps in a way. Obviously, no, I'm not reliant on my breast milk to provide Arthur with these nutrients, but as an added bonus, you know, having this nutritious milk is beneficial for a child no matter what their age and no matter what they're eating. You know, it's like we might take supplements, you know, we take our vitamins and stuff, and obviously again, I'm not saying this will replace a vitamin that I give to Arthur, because I do still give him vitamins, but it's just like an added bonus really. So breastfeeding, and especially prolonged exclusive breastfeeding, actually has a real benefit for a child's intellectual development and their cognitive abilities, and that's because a long chain polyunsaturated fatty acids, I think, which is only present in breast milk, so it's not present in formula, but that actually helps their brain to develop. Also, helping with their brain development is just when you're breastfeeding, obviously you're touching your baby, you're holding them, and that kind of touch and warmth also helps their brain development as well, and will actually help to increase their kind of coping mechanism during stressful times. And also there is a study that says children that have breastfed will also have a higher IQ. Breast milk also contains oxytocin, which again is kind of the feel-good hormone. You may have heard about that when you were pregnant, you know, in hypnobirthing that was talked about a lot because oxytocin is important for us as well, but also for your child. So that will also help with their emotional and social development. At 100%, breastfeeding is soothing for the baby. So, I mean, literally, it will help with their pain. So the hormones in breast milk will help baby to relax and also help with pain relief as well. And that skin-to-skin contact will also help with blood pressure and stress, and will also help to regulate their temperature and breathing. I mean, I definitely know that I kind of do feel Arthur calm when we are breastfeeding, and you know, if he's upset or you know, if he's hurt himself or whatever it is, breastfeeding is kind of like a heal-all really. It honestly does amazing things, and you know, that is the case from when they are very little, and then you know, even now that he's 2 years old, it's kind of like a special tool that you have really. You know, if there's nothing else that they want or nothing else that will calm them down and make them happy, you know, often a breastfeed will sort them out. And you know, if Arthur is getting a bit crotchety, like if he has a breastfeed, like he's really happy afterwards. So yeah, it's a really kind of amazing little useful thing that I have. Another study that I read did say that a longer duration of breastfeeding is associated with fewer parent-rated behavioural problems in the child. So they're saying that's from like the parent's point of view, the babies that were children that were breastfed have less problems like with their behaviour. And the oxytocin as well, I don't think I said this, but it does help to facilitate like a secure attachment. So for them, so I think a lot of people think that if your child breastfeeds, like, you know, well, you know, they're always going to be attached to the mum. But actually that's not the case. When they feel they have a secure attachment, it will actually help them to be more independent when they're a bit older. So as you can tell, a lot of benefits for the baby and child, and those benefits are whether your baby is 6 months old, 12 months old, 2 years old, 3 years old, 4, 5, you know, however long you go on for. Those benefits will always be there. So it's still nutritious, it's still amazing for their brain development, it still massively helps to protect them from getting ill and getting viruses, and also sudden infant death syndrome as well, which is obviously so important. So yeah, it's got all of those benefits, but there are also benefits to the mums, and some people say, you know, oh, you're still breastfeeding because, you know, it's for you, because they think like you want to cling on to breastfeeding and then being a baby, which is not the case at all. And you know, obviously, yeah, it is lovely and I enjoy that time, and there are other benefits which I'm going to talk to you about now, but that's not why I'm still breastfeeding. It's kind of just an added bonus really. So I mentioned oxytocin in the milk for baby, which is good for them, but actually when we breastfeed, our oxytocin in us actually goes up as well. So that will help with our mood, and it will lower our stress levels too. And it just kind of makes us feel good really. So mums that have breastfed for at least 12 months have a significant lower level of risk of heart disease and diabetes. Breastfeeding also lowers risk of ovarian cancer, breast cancer, osteoporosis, obesity and cardiovascular disease. And also there are benefits from it, kind of has a cumulative effect. So if you breastfeed one child for 1 year and another child for another year, obviously together that makes 2 years. I'm so good at maths. But yeah, you know what I mean. So, and based on that, they say for breast cancer, for every 12 months, the risk of breast cancer is reduced by 4.3%. And there were kind of a few other facts as well. And I think it like reached like a certain point, and the difference, like the percentage, was a massive, massive number. I'll try and leave that article down below for you. So yeah, it protects mums from all these different diseases. It also helps mums' mental health and helps to protect our mental health. So as I said, obviously oxytocin is released, which is a feel-good hormone, so obviously that definitely takes a role in it. But it also lowers our inflammatory response and the stress response as well. So it actually means, they say that mums who breastfeed have a lower risk of depression. So it's not to say that if you breastfeed, you're not going to experience depression. You know, it doesn't mean that you're always got to be happy or anything like that, but it does lower your risk. Studies show that the risk of having depression is lower from breastfeeding mums. And also breastfeeding just brings a moment of calm, which I think I touched on earlier, but you know, I think it's just like, you know, if you've had a really busy day or Arthur's been upset or, I don't know, things have been stressful for one reason or another, when Arthur has a breastfeed, it just gives us both time to just kind of like sit and be still and be calm, and I definitely feel that like it calms us both down, and it's really lovely to kind of like have that time with him as well. It's really, really special and I really enjoy it, and it is like also a time where we bond, you know, because obviously I'm holding him and you know he might be playing with my hair, and obviously it helps him to sleep as well, and also helps us to feel sleepy. So studies also show that breastfeeding mums sleep better. You know, I mean, Arthur does still wake to feed, but as I said, milk does contain that sleepy hormone for the baby, but it also induces that in us as well, which sometimes I do feel a bit sleepy. So yeah, I can definitely see that. But I absolutely love breastfeeding Arthur, and it is just such like a lovely moment, and like I said, that will be the case however old he is. And you know, obviously breastfeeding toddlers does kind of bring its own challenges, which again was in my last video, you know, about they might be more kind of tugging at your hair, or they might want to try all these positions which aren't always that comfortable for you. So yeah, it does come with different challenges, but you know, honestly, if you persevere with it, if you want to, you know, it is still amazing. It's still that amazing like bonding and calming and soothing time for both of you. So I just hope to kind of help normalise it, or if anyone is watching this and you are still breastfeeding, then I hope this kind of makes you feel like, yeah, you know, I am doing this and it is all for good reasons, and hopefully some people out there might help change their mind and think, oh yeah, you know, breastfeeding past 1 or breastfeeding past however age, you know, is still amazing for the parent but also the child. I mean, all those benefits I just think is absolutely incredible, and I just hope that support kind of gets better, and I hope that it is normalised more so that people feel more comfortable and feel more confident to breastfeed, and also to ask for support if they are having any struggles with it. So yeah, I really hope that you enjoyed that video, that you found it helpful or useful. Please let me know if there is anything interesting that you found in this video. I mean, when I was researching for it, I mean, I knew quite a lot of it, but you know, when you read about it, breastfeeding but breast milk is literally, it is amazing. It's kind of like magical stuff really, but yeah, and obviously as you can tell, it's so natural and so normal because it has all this goodness in it, but what it does is, yeah, it is a bit mind-blowing. So I actually really loved researching this video. So let me know if there's one fact that you absolutely loved hearing. And yeah, thank you so much for watching. Please don't forget to subscribe. I post lots of kind of mum life videos. As I said, I have done a few other breastfeeding videos too, which I will leave linked below. So please give this video a like to let me know that you enjoyed it, and I really hope to see you next time. Bye everyone.